This is the GVM 50RS LED panel. It is a full color RGB light with a few pretty neat tricks up its sleeve. In this video, I will share my thoughts on what I like and what I don't like about this light. Before we get started, two quick things. First, this video isn't sponsored, but GVM did send me these lights to review. Everything in this video is my honest opinion, and I'm not being paid for this, and GVM doesn't get any input into what I say here. Second, I am by no means an expert on lighting. This is not going to be a video that goes into the details of the specs or compares CRI values, whatever those are. If you do want to see some excellent reviews and comparisons of lights, I highly recommend checking out Tommy Callaway and New Layer on YouTube. They both have great reviews and tutorials that focus on lighting, so I will save all of those details for them. You can tell they're good at lighting because their YouTube photos are really well lit and their banners are super dramatic. Okay, so what I will share with you today though is how I've been using these lights in my own workflows, both in live streams as well as in my edited videos and conference talks. So with that out of the way, let's get started. One of the things I made sure to do when I built out the studio is paint this wall a neutral gray. This is the backdrop you see in my videos when I'm not live streaming at my desk. And when I position the camera just right and zoom in, I can crop out all the stuff on the sides and just get a flat gray background. And because this is middle gray, I can light it with these lights to turn it any color. In a recent live stream I did, I had this GVM light behind me where I was blocking it from being visible in the shot, and I had it pointing up at the wall, turning the wall a nice orange. Then there was this video I pre-recorded for a conference where I wanted my video to match the color scheme of the event. So I wore a pink shirt and turned my background yellow with this light. It's really fun to be able to transform my space instantly just by using these lights. Alright, so you saw a couple ways I've been using the lights. Let's talk about some of the details I like about them. This panel contains RGB LEDs as well as both warm and cool white. That means you get a high quality range of whites as well as full RGB. Some panels contain only RGB LEDs and then mix those to create the whites, but that always ends up with strange color tints or funny shadows. So you want to make sure you find lights that have separate white LEDs. It's sometimes called RGB WW as well. It means it works great to turn my background a fun color, but I can also use it as a regular key light or hair light where I just want some white light in the shot. Another thing I appreciate about this light is that it can be powered from a wall power or from a battery. Normally for live streams, I like everything I'm using to be powered from wall power, so I don't have to worry about batteries running out midstream. But sometimes, especially for shorter shoots, it's easier to run a light off of battery power to avoid running wires everywhere. These lights are also really bright, like really bright. I haven't actually used LED panels of this size yet, only the little like phone size ones. I guess I just never really realized how bright these things can get. It's certainly bright enough to light up my whole wall, which is exactly the thing I wanted them for. So let's talk about how you can control this light. It actually has a few different options. The simplest way is to use the dials on the back to control either the color temperature or the RGB hue, and then dial in the setting manually. That's definitely the easiest if you have just one light and you're using it in a fixed location. If you have more than one light, then they can actually sync up and talk to each other, something that's super cool that I didn't really expect to see. One light can be the controller, and then the other one will just follow whatever the main light is set to. So once this is linked up, whatever you set the main light to, the other one will just copy it. So if you're using two lights to illuminate the background, you don't have to walk around to both of them. You can just use the controls on one, and then both will be set to the same settings. You can even go one step further, which is to control these lights wirelessly from a phone. There's an app you can download. Then once you put the light into Wi-Fi mode, you can connect your phone to the light's Wi-Fi network. It'll broadcast a network called GVM LED, and then you connect your phone, and then when you launch the app, you have full control over all of the lights around you. And in this mode, whatever you set the app will control both lights. So this is great for someone like me, where I'm mainly shooting by myself. So if I want to turn the light on mid-shot, I can just press the remote, turn on the light, I can change the color, all from a phone, or in this case, my iPod Touch. And it means I don't have to get up, I can just do it from wherever I'm standing in the shot. So it makes it super quick to prepare the lighting for live streaming and for these kinds of videos. Like most RGB lights, it has a bunch of fun effects as well. There's a flickering bulb effect, there's lightning, there's police lights, or there's just random disco lights. Now, I don't do a lot of stuff that requires these effects, but I definitely see how this would be useful if you're filming something more cinematic than what I shoot in this studio. So that's a bunch of stuff I like about the lights. Let's talk about what I don't like. Really, there's only one problem I've had with the light, which is that the color controls aren't totally smooth. So if you watch, it's pretty smooth going from blue to purple, but then as soon as I hit red, it kind of jumps, and then again to orange. So it's missing some of the spectrum between there, right? The funny thing is this is not the only light I've seen with this problem. Plenty of other big name lights have the same kind of skipping around the color spectrum. I also noticed that the skipping really only happens if you have the saturation at 100%. Anything less, even 99%, and the skipping is much less obvious. And at the end of the day, this isn't a huge deal because it really only matters if you're trying to fade the light between two colors within a continuous shot. If you're just using it to light a background, then you just dial in the color and it'll be fine. I think you have to spend a lot more on a light in order to get one that can actually fade all the way through the color spectrum smoothly. Which takes us to the price. These lights are very reasonably priced. Each light is about $200 and you can buy as a single light or as a set of 2 or 3. And like I said at the beginning, I'm not really a lighting guy, and because of that, it makes me nervous to spend as much on lights as I do on cameras or live streaming gear, even if Tommy says I should. So I'm happy to recommend these lights as a budget-friendly option when you need to throw a huge splash of color onto a scene. I am super excited to keep these lights around as part of my studio. My plan with making this gray wall was to be able to light it up as any color, and these lights do a fantastic job of exactly that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this gives you some ideas of how you can use these lights in your own work. Again, thanks to GVM for sending these out to me. They are a perfect addition to my studio here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.